Okay, first thing we need to do is put your name on it at the beginning, all right? Dannn. Did I spell it right?
Yeah.
What's your student number, honey?
Number 7.
Number 7. Okay, so we know exactly whose paper it is. Now, we're going to begin with the topic of your share, hon. What was the topic of your share? It's going to be our first green sentence. Could you tell me? And I'll write it right here in the middle of our web. What would you say is the topic of your share? You don't know? You have an idea? Let's say it is the day my dog scared me. Something like that? What would you say then?
I got scared when my sister was babysitting.
I was scared when my sister was baby, BABYSITTING, when my sister was babysitting. Now, you do have to write very small, of course, in these boxes, okay? But they're also just mostly incomplete sentences to give you the ideas of what you're going to write about. Now, can you tell me the first thing in your story that happened at the beginning of when this happened? Where do you want to start in your story? Do you want to start when you woke up in bed? Probably not, huh? You probably want to start when your parents left and your sister was babysitting, right? So let's tell at the beginning of the story what was happening. My parents left. You could probably write that, right? Okay, one of the things you want to write about was make sure you write about my parents left. Now, did anyone ask a question about that in your group? No? Did they ask where your parents went? I thought someone asked that question, where your parents went. No one asked that question? Where were your parents? No? Oh, where were they?
They were like a lot of places.
Oh.
They went to the vet. To get them dog treats. They went to the haircut to get my brother's haircut, and they went to the doctor's to get my brother's.
That's a lot to write about if you're going to write about the vet, the doctor, and those 3 things, right? You could write those things in this box if you wanted to, but you could just write a sentence about my parents left, right? Excellent. Now that's great new information that I asked you about. Okay, after your parents left, what happened next?
We started watching.
Okay, watching. Now, notice class, I'm not writing complete sentences here, am I?
No.
Watching TV. I'm just gathering my information to say what was first, then, next, and finally, and I'm putting it in the box to show that. Now, I'm going to make this a complete sentence when I go to paragraph, and I'll model that later. Okay, so your parents left, you started watching TV, then what happened?
Then we went under the table and we heard the sound.
Oh, you heard the sound. Okay, so I'm going to say heard sound under. Oh, we went. 'Cause you didn't hear the sound under the table, did you?
Oh, we started hearing
We went under table. To hide? I should have said we hid under the table, huh? Okay, good words.
My sister said whenever you hear a noise like that, you must hide under the table.
Oh, that's funny. You could add that to your story, too. Okay, I heard the sound. We went under the table. Very good. Now, what happened next in your story after you heard the sound and you went under the table?
We stayed there for a while.
Okay, we stayed. Now, I'm not going to make a full sentence here because I'm just gathering my ideas quickly to put them in order. We stayed for a while. Now, class, don't worry about spelling so much here if it's big words like while, watching. If they're hard words to write, put them on the web and make your best guess spelling. Okay, class? Just do your best guess spelling, and that's what's the most important thing. All right? Okay. Now, we stayed for a while. What happened next?
We did finally stop.
Did you find your dog in the room under the pillow? Okay, so the sound finally stopped. And were you still under the table? Okay. It, meaning the sound, right?
We skipped lunch because of that.
It finally stopped. Okay, what happened after the sound stopped?
We got out.
Okay, got out from under the table. Uh-oh, I ran out of room. I have no more boxes.
What after I out from under the table, I could write about finding my dog with a red sentence.
Do you want to say that? Oh, you could with a red sentence. Oh, we're not doing red sentences yet this time of the year. You know about them, don't you? That's excellent. Right now, class, I would say at this time of the year, right now, if you're assigned only yellow, just keep them yellow, okay? If you know what reds are, that's great. Let's just make them all yellow for now, okay? Okay, well, I won't, okay, for those of you who are going, oh, because you know how to write them, if you do, then red will be even extra credit, okay? But here's my point right now, is, oh boy, she wants to keep telling about her story, and she's out of room. Where do we go? Where do we go? Tegan? Well, she doesn't want to go to the conclusion yet, does she? Because she wants to go up to the bedroom, if I remember the story correct, right? Don't you want to go to the bedroom? Yes or no? Yep, good. Then turn it over. Now, if you need this kind of room, there's two sides. If you do. Now, at this time of the year, class, for your story, if you can tell it on one side and get all your ideas here, you would make this your conclusion like Tegan said. You would make this your conclusion if you're done. And you can tell it all by now, that's great. But Dannon wants to go further than that. And she wants to make a little more to her story, don't you? So that you would turn it over and say, I've got a couple more things to say about my story to organize.
We checked upstairs.
Oh, we checked upstairs. Now remember, start at the top here again. We checked upstairs. Now, this is extra credit, guys. If you go to the back side, it's terrific because you're writing more about your story. Okay? You don't have to, but she wants to. Then what happened in your story? We'll write it here.
We found out what it was.
We found. Okay, found. Not sentences on this. Found out what it was. Good? And then, what do you want to write about?
Lunchtime.
Lunchtime? It was lunchtime? What's that mean?
I'm just kidding.
Okay, don't kid on this one. Come over here, dear. Come over here.
I wrote that.
You found out what it was. Well, you have to tell what it was. You won't leave us all mystery what it was. What was it?
I think it was my dog.
See, in your story, we haven't told what the sound made it. Okay, my dog. Tell me more about that so I can write it. My dog what?
My dog in my bed.
That's not solving the problem. Okay? Tell me how you would... actually, this is your conclusion, isn't it? Your conclusion is solving your problem. You were scared when my sister was babysitting. You were scared, right? So that's the problem at the beginning of the story. So at the conclusion, by then, how are you going to solve the problem? Your dog was making the noise, right? That's how you found the solution to the problem. Okay, my dog was making the noise. And you know what? That is actually your conclusion, isn't it? So at that point, I would put a green around that. Because that's our conclusion. I could have written it right there, but we decided to stop here and say, that's a good conclusion. We solved the problem. Now, class, when you do this and you write your own story, the beginning or topic has to have what in it? At the beginning of every story, what is there?
Green.
A green topic,
Problem.
a problem,
Settings.
characters, and setting. Okay. There you go. So, does her story have a problem at the beginning? She was scared. Does it have characters? Her parents. And she's going to say about her, isn't she? She's going to tell about her sister and her watching TV. There's your characters. Does it have a setting? Did she say where this is or when it is? I don't know. It doesn't say where this is happening, does it?
Yeah, at our house.
You might want to say my house and just make sure that you put a setting in there, okay? Where it happened? Okay. Now, in the middle of her story, does she try to figure out the problem?
Yes.
She is. All this is figuring out the problem. That's what the middle of a story does, remember? She's watching TV, you heard the sound when they were on the table, they stayed for a while. That's figuring the problem out. And at the very end, has she solved the problem by the end of the story?
Yes.
She found the dog was making the noise. So she has a beginning, she has a middle, and she has an end, and she has all the parts of her story, and it's organized very, very well. All right. Are there any questions about what we just did? Anyone for your story? Because I'm going to assign this to you now, for you to do your own story. Ashley?